Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusrul. Today is the 22nd of September 2015 and welcome, after a long hiatus, to the Tribble Timewarp for Season 11, New Dawn. The obvious warning before we get started. Ooh, wormhole, pretty. This is going to involve spoilers. We're going to be looking at the new Cardassian story arc, the revamped Cardassian struggle, the replacement of the final original Starfleet content. It will of course be open to Federation aligned Romulans as well. So if you don't want spoilers for these mid-tier missions, well, don't watch any more of this video, and I'll see you next time, when hopefully there will be no spoiler content. Foundry Frolic should be out on Friday as per normal. Well, relatively normal. Still here? Good. Okay, so the original Cardassian content has been more or less scrapped. If I bring up the journal, you'll see what I mean. Cardassian Advance now takes place after Spectres. Of course, if you're Federation, Spectres folds into the Klingon War arc, but we're running on a Romulan for this, so it's separate. It used to be the case that you had your breadcrumb mission taking you out to DS9, then you basically hopped back and forth between the True Way stroke Jem'Hadar stroke New Link arc, as well as the Mirror arc, and halfway through there was a Tribble mission as a breather. The Tribble mission appears to have been exterminated. Clearly the Klingons found out about it, and instead we have got, well, True Way, Mirror Universe, True Way stroke Jem'Hadar, and New Link. So we'll see how this goes over the course of the next few episodes. Also worth noting that there's a level jump here between 35 and 42. Little surprised by that. I would have expected this to go 35, 36, 37, and then at least try to stagger out the content a bit. As it is, we may have a bit of a content gap here, 35 to 42, depending on where you are at the end of the New Link. Cryptic might need to look at their XP curve. Depends how well these missions pay out, but we'll find that out as we go. So let's get started. Our first mission is Lost and Found. This is simply a breadcrumb mission to get you out to DS9 and the Gamma Quadrant in general. We'll hail them. If you're Romulan, it's Datan who tells you that Commander Minna of DS9 has requested our assistance. If you're Federation, then you get Admiral Quinn on the line instead. Some basic XP and skill points pay out. 1002 expertise, 903 skill points. That's the same at both 51 and 60. It may well be a flat reward, I'm not sure. I don't have a level 35 character handy to check this out on. Yes, I might possibly be lazy, so sue me. We'll accept that, and since it's sending us to DS9, by a stunning coincidence, we happen to be there. Handy that. Dock at DS9. Standard Bajoran officer gives us the greeting, and there have been some renovations, but yes, I'm sure I can find my way around. After all, how completely can you have rebuilt the station? Well, not very. I mean, the last revamp DS9 had was a couple of years ago now. They've tweaked a few things, mostly when they brought in the rep system and didn't need the Omega Force vendors anymore. But by and large, the layout hasn't changed all that much. Let's take the turbo lift up to operations. And, oh, hi Satas. There's Captain Gora, Kurland's here. And over here we have Commander Sarish Minna, who's our contact for this arc. Interestingly, you'll note she is in the late DS9 and late TNG movie era uniforms rather than the modern 2410 STO uniform, which everyone else on the bridge, well except obviously Satas and myself, are wearing. It's a little bit weird, that one, but maybe it's just intended as a shout out to DS9. After all, they do have the freedom under the uniform code to pick any uniform they like so long as it's, well, uniform. Also, can they please, please, please get somebody in to tune that view screen? Honestly, 300 years and they still can't get the vertical hold correct. Or is that the horizontal hold? I'm not sure. In any event, someone go outside and give the aerial a slap. Kurland, you're here. You'll do. While they're doing that, let's talk to Commander Minna. Welcome to DS9, Admiral. Thank you for coming so quickly. So this is mostly background. During the occupation, many sect artifacts were stolen and studied. After the Bajoran-Cardassian Treaty was signed in 2071, that was the withdrawal treaty from Bajor, which triggered off the events of DS9. The artifacts were supposed to be returned, but the Obsidian Order, because they're a bunch of complete gits, didn't return them and hid quite a few. And we know this because the Cardassians have phoned up and fessed up. There's a faction called the True Way who reject the treaty with the Federation. You're only 30 years late, guys. And this organisation has infiltrated a defunct Obsidian Order city and stolen all of the profits that they just happen to have lying about. No doubt in a crate after telling Agent 7 that they would have their top men on it. Top men indeed. The orbs are precious to the people, they begin to etc, 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 and the True Way are, ironically enough, borrowing from the Marquis. They're hiding out in the Badlands, and guess what? We're on recovery duty. I will track down those responsible for stealing the orb of the profits, which concludes Lost and Found. It would be good to have the option there to go, okay, so the Cardassians had it, the Cardassians lost it, why aren't the Cardassians going to get it? And then have Commander Minna give you the explanation that under the treaty the Cardassians barely have a military anymore. They have the Damar, they have a few patrol ships, but they've not got the forces to go in and hunt down the True Way, especially not since the True Way found several dozen Dominion War era warships lying about. However, we're straight into spoils of war via the auto mission pop. So she repeats what she told us here: the True Way has stolen an orb that the Obsidian Order failed to return, etc, etc. And we know they've been hitting civvy ships out near the Badlands. And oops, should be a carriage return there, that needs to go. Republican intelligence believes that the raids are related to True Way activity in the region. I believe that changes to Starfleet intelligence if you're a Federation character. We know the areas are haven for smugglers and criminals of all types. Yes, I suppose you would, including quite a lot of the Marquis. And yep, irony of ironies, they might be using some of the old Marquis bases. The Badlands are there for the most likely hiding place. And yep, we're going in to get them. Payout is 9,000 skill points, 10,000 expertise, and a good chunk of dilithium ore. Trying to remember the XP curve at 35. 10,000's pretty generous at that stage. Anyhow, rewards, you've got a couple of very nice shield arrays. Bear in mind that this character is level 51, so rewards are scaling to Mark 11. If you're level 60, these will of course be Mark 12. However, resonating Tetra weapons, these are a new type as far as I recall. They have an extra 2.5% chance for the shield drain effect. So instead of 2.5%, you have 5%. Interestingly, you've got dual heavies and Tetrions here. There's no beam option, which is interesting. Tetrions are something I mentally at least associate with science vessels and drain type builds, along with Polaron weapons, rather than the straight up DPS of an escort and a cannon build. That's something you tend to go more for anti-proton with if you're going for a crit D heavy build, and if you're traditionalist, well, you've got phasers and disruptors. Tetrions, no quite so much, and certainly not on an escort. Anyhow, we'll accept the mission, and yeah, this is a long-standing bug that if you pick up a new mission, sometimes you have to cross a zone line, get over the lip of the lift, thank you very much, cross the zone line, and there we go. You can see we've now got the mission objectives in play. We can hop out to the Badlands system. It would require 35,000 energy credits, but since I'm broke, at least on this character, don't ask, let's just head out via the old-fashioned way. It's only about a 20 light year hop to the Badlands. Anyway, close that down and depart the system. Warp drive spools up, and that's another bug that seems to have crept in Tribble. I'm getting a lot of occasions where you go to warp, you hear the drive spool up, and then it goes straight to the loading screen instead of engaging the drive and jumping out. However, let's roll. So the Badlands are more or less this way. Kinda handy to have. They're actually up in the Cardassian sector, ironically enough. Like I say, it's not too far a hop, so frankly, even if you're broke, well, even if you're not broke, there's not much of a reason to blow the 35k unless you really are rolling in cash. Still, there are some people who are rolling in cash, and hey, time is money. Also, an interesting point here, you'll notice we're clear of the Deferi sectors at the moment. Defra, Mariah, Breen, and Raver. However, we have got Giro on the line, so there we go. Exit that one. He pops up quite early on, some way out of the sector boundary. Maybe tighten that up a smidge, lest it confuse Lobby players, who really aren't ready to start playing the Cold War arc. I mean, when does that kick up? Actually, next but one, so kicks in at level 47, 12 levels later. So what we've got, the Badlands. Yep, little bit of background there, solid enough. Begin Spoils of War. And welcome to the Badlands. Again, you notice we didn't quite have the warp in animation. We got the flash and we got the jump in. Well, we didn't get the deceleration. So Cryptic seemed to have managed to break the warp in animation somehow. I'm not sure if that's a known bug or not. Anyhow, Tovan, no, I haven't booted him out of an airlock yet. And we've arrived in the Badlands, and he repeats what we've already been told multiple times, that this is heavy True-Way activity, and we'll have to search the Badlands because, hey, plasma storms, fire, and general bad stuff. Oh, and we're getting a distress call. Acknowledge. 20 ships in the vicinity, etc, etc. Set a course for the freighter. Okay, this is problematic. I, at the moment, am running a pair of GTX 780s. I've tried them in SLI. This is with SLI disabled. I've tried it with anti-aliasing. This is with anti-aliasing off. And I can't make this problem go away. So let's muck with display settings for a second. And we'll start by, well, there we go. Direct3D 11, number 1. NVIDIA, 109% brightness. Resolution scale 1.0. Let's turn MSAA on. Bit prettier, but no real effect. Still got this weird problem. Switch to temporal anti-aliasing. Nope, no effect. Apply that. Just force a reset. Nope, no effect. So we can rule out anti-aliasing problems. So we'll start by turning everything right the way down. We appear to have broken the Badlands. Right. Okay, that was unexpected. Let's try moving a little bit. Okay, that was... yeah, right. Okay. Let's start by turning on post-processing. Doesn't make a deal. Alright, start with the general settings. So we'll start by bringing the use sliders option. So start nudging this up a bit. Okay, there we go. CPU detail doesn't appear to have had any effect going on here. So let's watch the rest of these settings. Okay. Turn up once. Turn up twice. Aha! There we go. So we suddenly have the Badlands back with all the associated weirdness. Now, what did that change? Turn it back down. Okay, so use full detail flicked off. So did... in fact, it's purely that, isn't it? Right, so full detail off. Oh, that's interesting. That didn't change anything. Back to using sliders. So it's not full detail. Let's see what else changes. Yoink. Aha! Terrain detail. Let's try that one. Low. Did pause. Medium. No. Okay. Use sliders. Temporarily tap it down once and then up again. Then to medium. So what else is being changed here? Visual effects quality. Underwater view. Bloom quality. Dynamic lighting, maybe? No, that's not causing it. Still getting the weirdness. Yeah. Screen space ambient. No. Post-processing. Makes a little difference. Screen space ambient. Gradually turning everything on as we go. Back to using sliders. Reset to main settings. Okay, so what are we missing here? TSA, I mean, none of this is being affected. It's purely coming off the advanced and the display screens. Reduce size, reduce CPU usage. Minimum shadow buffer bias. I wonder. Let's see if it's that. I wonder if we've just blundered the whole system. So crank it up to max. There we go. Okay, so we're fully back. The Badlands are restored in all their glory. And I should probably stop running away from the action. Now, let's switch over to Advanced, turn on the Shadow Buffer bias. Well, that appears to have had sod all effect. Okay, what else could be used? Robotic rendering is on, video memory limit is auto. Frankly, it has memory to play with, and then some, even with only a single card working. Bloom intensity, okay, so we can rule out the shadow buffer bias. That doesn't seem to be having any effect. So, let's start mucking around with settings. And what do you know? First setting, we immediately get somewhere. World detail. Turn that to low, and the Badlands go away. Turn it up to low. Well, turn it to minimum, sorry, and the Badlands go away. Rather badly, in fact. Whoops. Okay, there we are. And turn it up to low, and all of a sudden we have the Badlands back, and we also have flicky plasma debris. What's it? I mean, what is that anyway? I mean, it looks to be roughly spherical, but not sure. Anyhow, let's just have a look at what happens when we mess with the terrain detail. Not much. This is pretty much a ground setting. Just crank that up to max. Doesn't make much of a difference. So I'm not sure what's going on there with Cryptic. If anyone else has been experiencing that and can add more in the way of scenario and detail to it, then, well, you're welcome to do so. Let's get back on course. Cloak up. Full impulse. Let's go find us that little lost lamb, assuming the wolves haven't savaged it and left us a few bones to emote over. All stop. Aha! There's our freighter, and there's our true way. Enemies, luckily the freighter is invulnerable, so cut down, bring the weapons power back up. Run a quick circle while we're waiting for that. Lock onto the Hideki. And then the good old-fashioned Romulan ambush. See ya. Really wouldn't want to be ya. Torpedoes have retargeted. This thing takes an age to come around. I've forgotten how unmaneuverable a scimitar could be. Doesn't matter if forward guns are on that Hideki. And now they aren't because he's dead. Guns up. Guns out. Freighter starts emitting the interstellar distress signal, namely leaking green gas. And we have the option to hail them. So let's do exactly that. Thanks for the assistance, Exum. I know I should never have cut through the Badlands, but it takes weeks off my journey. And years off your life expectancy. What happened? Well, he was just hauling his cargo through the Badlands, he passed a strange anomaly, and then a bunch of Cardassian ships appear out of nowhere, and we have a name for our nemesis. It is Gul Kardec, and of course the trio. What did he do? He ran like a girly elf, of course. Well, he tried to, and they disabled his engines, and they were just about to board him, and then we arrived. Thank you. I'd recommend you run like a girly elf. Fix your engines. No, we're not going to offer you any help with fixing your engines. You can just go and fix your engines. So, kick up to full impulse, and we have our negative space wedgie over there. If they fix that glitch, I think it might be more a problem with this object, whatever it is, than it is with the renderer itself. Could be wrong about that, but let's scan the anomaly. Scan the anomaly. And we have fallen into their trap. Oh, we have we? You're the one with the obsolete cruiser. Note to the wise, by the way, of course, Galors still have feedback pulse 3 as their party trick, so for God's sakes, if you're fighting a Galor, don't blitz in with your Alpha Strike, you'll just get feedback pulse to the face. Wait for it to wear off. Then sucker him in with a singularity jump, which I got completely wrong. Launch your frigates, if you've got them. And then when this slow thing turns around, Ooh, scramble sensors doesn't really help, but we get some Jem'Hadar fighters. Cough, cough. Actually, no, those are Breen? It came up with Breen when we're fighting Cardassians. Okay, that's a novel interpretation. I'd have expected it to emulate a Hideki, but there you go. Maybe that's something else Cryptic could take a quick look at if they're ever going, since they're doing a pass on Cardassians in general. Or maybe not. Anyhow, roll away again, let the torpedoes do their stuff, and he goes boom. Now, getting back to that scan we were doing before we were so rudely interrupted. There we go. It is a tear in the fabric of the space. Okay, can someone tell me where we left the sewing kit? It appears to be dormant, but it could be widened to become a portal, and they're detecting traces of orb energy. So, we could use some backup. Lucky us. And she'll be along in the Defiant shortly, if they can manage to get that rusting junk pile out of dock without its engines falling off. Anyhow, scan there, and we're off to the moon. To the moon! And it won't even, and the ship won't even explode on the launch pad. There we go. Ooh, we have more Cardassians. Lucky us. One Galor, and yep, that's an orbital defense platform. It's only a light platform though, so not really a threat. Again, the Galor is going to blow its feedback pulse as soon as we get within range. There we go. It's pulled it. Weakness in the AI there, actually. It's very, very prone to, well, blowing its load early. Anyhow, let's murder this platform first. Like so. Then we'll roll round. Oop, first frigate's actually engaged. We'll get our second out to help away. Here comes the next platform. It's actually trying to shoot down. Oh, it did shoot down one of the heavy plasmas. Very clever. Clever girl. Not clever enough, however, for I have some very big guns at my disposal. Or rather, I have some decent sized guns and rather a lot of them. And that was just a waste of a sensor scramble. Okay, fire again. There we are. Okay, that's interesting. Wait. Did that... No, okay, that's interesting. You only have to take down the base defences. You don't have to take down the Galor as well. So that's worth knowing. I'm not sure if that's deliberate or not, but we'll quickly frag it anyway for completion's sake. Hasn't quite had time to recharge its feedback pulse. Something it will now dearly regret. Anyhow, come round. Charge up rapid fire. Get the nose round quickly. Turrets are shredded anyway. Main guns come round. And that's basically all she wrote. Ah, now it gives us a Jem'Hadar fighter and a Klingon bird of prey? We've got some very confused camouflage systems here. They appear to be going for everything but Cardassian. Although the Jem'Hadar, well, that's near enough. Scan the moon. Let's see what we get. There we are. It's a true A orbital platform. We have an appropriate place to beam in. Of course, we're ready to beam down. Let's go get some Cardassians. With Jarmok sauce to go. Phaser fried. Maybe a little plasma barbecue on the side. You never know. And here we are. 4 is detecting orb energy from somewhere nearby, as incisive as ever, number 4, and also a number of Cardassian life signs. Well, we can fix the second problem easily enough. Hand me those dual pistols. Hey guys, we're from the Romulan Navy. We're here to hurt you all. Nice touch there. Interesting that they're putting that little bit of foreshadowing in and showing us a Jem'Hadar fighter, although new players might not recognise it as such. Anyhow, we're going to get some Cardassians coming over here. Hey guys! And then we just shred lots of Cardassians. There we go. You can stop shooting now, really. Concentration of orb energy come from the low level, i.e. the locked office. Okay, so down we come, and round. And, oop, more Cardassians. Hey guys! Right then, let's put in targeting. Fire off. There we are. And Cardassians neatly go down. Switch weapon just for a second. Yoink. There we are. Right, so Iconium resistance pulse waves. So far, so good. We'll throw in a grenade to warm these guys up. There we are. A little bit of a rendering issue there. Not sure whether that's me or whether it's the game just having a few issues. I have shotgun interrogator. Here's a question for you. What happens to a Cardassian who's shot repeat... Oh, right, yes, you know the answer to that one. Fine. And there goes the Gill, who it seems requires some assistance breathing in plasma. Underwater, no problems whatsoever. Very nice lighting effects in here, and a pretty spectacular view of the Badlands as well. You know what, let's just... Oh, we're getting some flickering here. Might have just been a coincidence. I don't think I can reproduce that on the fly. There we go. Okay, it looks like it's the way it's handling. Okay, that's interesting. It looks like, depending on your camera angle, it's either processing the shadows correctly or it isn't. So you can see it switching between low and high detail. Now, if you excuse me, I'm being shot at, so this is perhaps not the best moment to be discussing display issues. There we are, just frag these guys down, no need to be subtle about this. And then we've got two groups left to take out. So, we'll take these guys down on the ground floor first. Hey, yeah. Should have turned around a little faster. There we are. Cardassians, of course, very fond of their grenades. Seems to be one of their party pieces, actually. Right. Got him. And yep, that's the group from upstairs engaging, so we'll just take a step to one side. Shoot her down. And... well, lots of plasma and not many Cardassians. Especially once Tovin's kicked them in the face. He likes doing that. And there we go, they're all dead. So, Gul Kardec has sealed himself in his office, but I believe we can override the lockout at that podium. Okay, which podium would that be? Ah, right, the one over here. I must admit it would be nice here to have a career split in the mission. So, science, hack the podium. Engineering, hack the door mechanism. And tactical, just blow the door off its hinges. But... it's hard to see what use it would serve unless you have different bonuses. So, yes, I've played this before, by the way, on my Federation character. So if tactical blow the door off the explosion injures the Gul and he starts the fight with less health, science realise that there are reinforcements waiting to beam in, disable the transporters and block one or two of the waves coming in. And engineering, well, if they open the doors silently, I don't know, what could engineering have? Maybe some cover options? A bit of extra shielding, a bonus like that? Worth a thought, I suppose. Anyhow, unlock the door. Poke, poke, prod, beep, 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 beep. There we go. And enter the office. And then this triggers a cutscene. And we meet Gul Kardec. This orb is the property of the Cardassian government. Yes, yes, the one you're trying to overthrow? Oh, right, no. In other words, you. Fair enough. And then he calls in reinforcements. And he also appears to be stuck in the, yeah. Anyhow. We'll beam in the security escort, call in the backup. And then just start rapidly fragging Cardassians. Gul Kardek's got a very powerful photon grenade attack, by the way. I actually took a crit from it on Yuzril and got pretty much instantly fragged. I mean, you can see the damage it's doing here, even at lower levels. You knock him down to about 10%, and the stinking coward runs. You then have to mop up his reinforcements, who are much less of a problem. They fall over pretty rapidly. So yeah, they're all dead. And interesting hairstyles they're going for. It's, normally you see Cardassians going for that Gul Dukat look, but we've got one here who's shaven-headed, which is novel. I suppose they would all want to break with the failure Dukat. And we've got another couple of issues here. So, first off, Romulan console buried here. I'm assuming this is from when the level was originally blocked out. You'll also notice I'm having a hard time picking up the interact marker for the console. Incidentally, the force field is this, and well, you can see the first force field blocking the way, but anyhow, let's just switch this off if we can find the marker. You know, just jump up and tap dance on the console, because this is the principal way of interacting with Romulan issue consoles. Incidentally, can we have this stolen property back when we leave? Thank you. Excellent. Now then, the force field's down, we can retrieve the orb, so we'll beam that out. Boop, 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 beep, boop, beep. Incidentally, Metreon gas? Is that the holy grail of the Bajoran people? Apparently it is. Nobody lights up in Cargo Bay 3 for the duration of this mission. Anyhow, download the data. No prompt in conversation for this. You have to work that yourself. And we have an encrypted transmission, Omega 32XC, Gul Kardek's eyes only. Dear Kardek, you might my surprise, etc., etc. Lita, end transmission. Yes, well, we certainly show a detest for the Federation, and there are certain territorial issues. In other words, she's going to grind them under her heel once she's done having them take horrible casualties vanquishing the Federation. Because, of course, this is not our Lita, this is Mirror Lita. And while I'm quite sure that the novel verse isn't applying here, especially the events of Rise Like Lions, I find it somehow inevitable that Mirror Lita's first action on becoming Admiral would have been to glass Ferenginar. Because, hey, revenge. It's the Mirror Universe. I mean, they're that kind of girl over there. The ones who aren't completely crazy. Anyhow, we've got the orb back, and we're ready to beam up. In particular, we're ready to go chasing Gul Kardek, who has just legged it to his ship. Anyhow, here we are, pursuit. We have an incoming hail from Commander Sarish, who has just about got the Defiant over to the Badlands. I mean, it was only 20 years. I mean, what factor does that rust bucket of yours make again? Okay, Gul Kardek has escaped, and we're about to try to track him. Well, she'll be along momentarily. May the Prophet and on you, Commander. And she does indeed arrive momentarily. So, let's go find some True Way ships. And if you keep up, Commander, we might even leave a few for you. So, scatter volley, torp spread, Omega, kill them all. And in the words of the immortal war poem, boom, 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 rapid fire. There we go. And 2. Okay, so Tovan pipes up. He's detected a plasma wake and he thinks it belongs to Gul Kardek's ship. He can illuminate it, so modify the deflector and release the technobabble. And yoink. Where is the technobabble? Ah, there is the technobabble. Nice straight line. Right the way back to the anomaly. Surprise, surprise. Hello, Gulkardek. I suppose we'll find here. Ah, is that a bit bigger than it was before? Yes, it is. So we have the Grenivok and a Galor. Well, we'll ignore the Galor for a bit. The Grenivok is a Keldon class. Incidentally, it's reduced strength, which is odd. So we'll just frag that first. Should have fired first, mate. There go your shields. There go large chunks of your hull. There go more chunks of your hull. And if you're done exploding, there we go, that triggers a cutscene. The Grenivok legs it through the portal. The Galor's still trying, gamely. He's up for it, I'll give him that. However, first things first, singularity jump away, evasives up, half speed, come round, rapid firearms, and then many bad things happen to Cardassians. Like so. All stop, and we have the option to scan the anomaly again. Don't have to wait for red alert to wear off. And Tovans realise what's going on. They've detected that it leads to the mirror universe, and they've detected ships emerging from the portal. So, yep, shields up. Those look like mirror universe ships. They are mirror universe ships, and we have a sovereign. So you know what? We'll start by fragging these frigates, and wow, they put out a big punch to start with. So let's just polarize the hull, hazard emitters, emergencies, and reverse shield polarity, quickly patch things up. That's a big initial damage spike. I don't know what we soaked, but it was pretty considerable. Anyhow, let's pitch round. Here comes another torpedo spread. Lay up rapid fire. One frigate gone. Another frigate gone. Yeah, it's the torpedo shot from that Terran cruiser. Jump away again. So they're pinned. That finishes the frigate. We'll cloak up for the moment. Still taking hits from this plasma fire, but that settles that. And now that we're sneaking up on the unsuspecting sovereign... Wait a minute, have they redone their paint jobs? Yes, they have. Those markings are red, not yellow. Okay, that might be an interesting point. Anyhow, just toddle forwards, regen the hull as we go. The Defiant is going to steal our kill. No, you don't. And that, Praetor, is how it's done. Anyhow, frag the last frigate, and we have another wave of Mirror Universe ships coming through at close range. One Terran cruiser, one Terran science vessel. Another of those weird... Have they picked up the ability to use unstable warp bubbles? Because if so, that's a nice touch. I'm not sure when they got that one. The science vessel's throwing out... what is that? The feedback pulse again. Couldn't remember the name of the ability for a moment there. And we'll just frag this cruiser. Incidentally, a previous run-through of this gave us a Nebula class rather than a science vessel. Technically, it was designated a cruiser, and strictly speaking, it is. There goes their cruiser. Oop, I've taken another beating, so plasma fire, engineering team. There we go. Partly patched up, Terran science vessel, and then reinforce and swing round. AP Omega, rapid fire, and say goodbye to your forward shields. Boom. Okay, so that's that dealt with. The rust bucket distinguished itself. And we've had our first run-in with the Mirror Universe, and this is where it ends a little abruptly. There's no couple of, hey, we just fried a load of ships from an evil parallel of the Federation. It's kind of, congratulations, you've got the orb, now get it back to Bajor. Oh, and I'll send a message ahead that you're on your way. Acknowledged, and that's it. It's a very abrupt ending. I would expect at least some discussion of, well, hey, who are these guys, what's the Mirror Universe, and why are they suddenly getting involved with this? Presumably it all ties into the orb of possibilities. Maybe we'll get that particular explanation in the next episode, but Feels like a bit of a abrupt end to the episode here. Oh yeah, and warp jump out is bugged again. So that brings us to the end of Spoils of War. Commander Minna has legged it back to DS9 in record time, and yeah, this is a bit of a problem. Their finishing message is from one of the older Ark missions. Joshua is a reference to Joshua Riker. He pops up in one of the old Cardassian Ark missions. He is the son of the transporter clone Thomas Riker. It's a long and complicated story involving both a next-gen episode and a DS9 episode, but more detail than I care to go into. You can pick up your choice of rewards, so resonating tetrions, regenerating shield arrays, etc, etc. We'll just pick one at random. There we go, and pick up the skill points as well. While we're on the subject, episodes and replay, because what I want to have a look at is what the replay rewards are. Excuse me. Oh, well, of course, it's auto-hailed the mission simulator. There we are. So, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and again, yep, you've got the same reward options, so you can pick up a full set of resonating Tetron gear. If you're looking to pick up an escort on the cheap, that might not be a bad option, but as I say, Tetrions are not my preferred option there, and again, they've got this typo in the mission briefing text, so that will have to go. Anyhow, exit there. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going through the Looking Glass, and we'll see how this plays out. I have a suspicion this is where we're going to end the Mirror Universe arc quite abruptly. Also worth noting that that is the old Mirror, I think it's Kiryoshi O'Brien. I think. Maybe. Possibly. It's been a long time since I played the old Cardassian arc, but that is certainly from one of the old missions. However, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, then again, you never know, maybe it isn't. Maybe they've recycled. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Usual. That has been the Tribble Time Warp, looking at Lost and Found and Spoils of War. And until next time, farewell.